Hey, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Hope you all had a good lunch. So calm you all down. So things good, and things are really good. You should be excited if you live in Georgia. I know we have some maybe out-of-state press, but it's just exciting. Really, the big news today is we have over 700,000 Georgians who have already voted today. Just kind of prorate that out to the rest of the day. That'd be over 1.1 million, which gets us to probably right now 5,150,000. And we don't know if that trend will continue. We don't know if it'll actually come up a little bit. People get off work today. But that's really what the big news should be. Now, I'm not telling you what to print or write. That's your job. But I think that's pretty darn awesome. Then we have a few things that happen you just can't, explain. And one of them, you're kind of in the weeds, but in Peach County this morning, it was a little cold down there. So someone plugged in the space heater that was also serving the county EMS for the election management system. And so it fried that, so it was replaced this morning. But those are the kind of things you just kind of don't expect. But very minor issue. And another really minor issue that so far 2 precincts in Cobb, had a late opening for about 30 minutes each, so they'll extend those. But what's really interesting is that today a lot of people call our call center. So far, we've had 1,374 calls on our call center, and they were answered an average of 16 seconds, and the oldest was about 42 seconds. So really responsive, getting back to people, answering their questions. What do they do? Where do they go? Things like that. And then we actually even gotten some great feedback. Already 40 emails. Instead of being dog cussed, 40 emails telling us they had a great experience. We want everyone in Georgia to know that I've led on making sure that we lead the nation on having fast, secure, and accurate elections. And when you say fast, so much of that is about the voter experience, the customer, which is the voter today. And we're just really grateful we're getting feedback, but we're so grateful that we're having a check-in time right now under a minute. And we're having line time 2 to 3 minutes. So in 4 minutes or less, average, people are voting in Georgia. And we think that's good news too. So we have a lot to be proud of, and that's what you all have to be proud of, that you live in a great state. Now, I talked a little bit earlier about that Russian hoax and that bomb scare. And I just want to make sure everyone understands this, that Georgia's not going to be intimidated. Russia has just decided they picked on the wrong Georgia. They need to pick on the other one in the Black Sea, because we're not going to be intimidated. But we're just excited about where we are right now. I didn't know if anyone had any questions.
You talked about some precincts in Cobb County that'll be held open late. Are you aware of others? And also Cobb County said equipment issues were the reason for it. I don't know what equipment issues those are. Do you know?
No, it wasn't issues. It was just little things. Sometimes people forget keys. Sometimes they don't bring the power cord or connection, things like that. But it's just minor issues, but it's just 2 in Cobb. And there's a few other precincts where they had some of those bomb, the calls for the bomb scares. Sometimes, most of the precincts, they just kept on voting. But in a few areas, they just paused while they did a check. And so like a 30-minute, 40-minute kind of wait for there. Not very many. So I think we're right now looking at less than a dozen across the entire state, out of 2,325, I believe it is. So it's, but it's just one of those inconveniences. But, I've said my piece. Obviously, you can see I'm pro-Georgia.
Good. And that Peach County issue, will that cause any delays or does that
No.
affect voters at all?
No, not at all. Didn't affect them at all.
Looks like you have large numbers voting early. These day of numbers are going to be a lot smaller. Do you have an idea, with those early votes, we're going to get a lot of numbers really soon. Talk about that and how we're going to see a lot of the results in this election you're hoping pretty early.
Absolutely. With SB 189 that we just passed this session, all the early votes that we have for the early voting in person and all the absentees that have come in early and have been accepted, all of that has to be uploaded 1 hour after the polls close. And you think about that, that's probably 65% of the total votes, maybe even 70%. That's going to be uploaded. Everyone in Georgia is going to see that. In fact, everyone in the country can see that. So you get a good idea where this race is going, but I think that's going to build trust in people, confidence, and then kind of see how their team's doing. But then the other balance that's happening today, that's going to come in with continuous feedbacks and uploads from the counties. So we'll be seeing that and it won't just be a big number here and a big number there. It's going to happen throughout the night. And like I said, we have this all done before the night is out.
What are the most common questions, complaints that are coming into the call center today?
Really just location. What about this? How do I, where do I find, like my voter page, mvp.sos.ga. You can find out where you're supposed to vote, and then just make sure that you go to the right location. Yes.
A colleague of mine heard that 2 polling sites in Gwinnett County might have been evacuated because of a bomb threat.
Yeah.
Is that true, and is it part of the Russia?
It's part of the Russian hoax, yes.
So you, go ahead. So do you have a total number of polling places that have been affected by this?
By the Russian hoax? Yeah, I could add it up and we'll get that out to you.
Okay.
Will those Gwinnett County polling places stay open late?
Yeah, whenever we have a delay, even if it's like at 7 a.m. we don't start, but whenever you have a delay, an interruption like that, then it's extended by the time of the interruption, and that's just standard, procedure.
I know you talked about the Russian interference, the don't mess with Georgia. When it comes to that message that you have for people tonight, as we continue to see some of these hoaxes and non-credible threats come in, what's that message?
Well, I would tell everyone, just check with our office. We have a social media presence, and we're going to shoot you straight, give you the facts, and we get it out there as quick as we can. Because we understand how polarized America is, and we know how sometimes people want to take advantage of that, and a lot of that is foreign state actors that don't have our best, outcome in their hearts. They want to see us, mess with each other and not get along with each other. But at the end of the day, we are the United States of America. Never lose sight of that. Thank you so much. Talk to you in an hour.
Thank you, sir.
For 2.